Hi, it's Angel Hawks. Welcome back to my channel. Wanted to give you a little update of where we are after 6 weeks of school and some things that I've added to our lineup to fill in some gaps that I felt like we had and maybe beef up a couple of categories or subjects that I felt needed a little something. And if that is interesting to you, I'd love to share with you what we're doing for the next 6 weeks of our school. Stick around. If you're new here, I am a work from home, full-time, and homeschooling mom to one son. I have two sons, but one is in college and one is in 5th grade. So I homeschool my 5th grader. We are a CC family. If you're not familiar with that, that's Classical Conversations. We go to that co-op once a week. And well, not in our case, twice a week. I'll explain what that means. But if you don't know what CC is or Classical Conversations, there's tons of resources out there. You can Google that or YouTube it and see other people's descriptions of it or whatnot. You can also watch my previous video on our curriculum, and I talk about it a little bit. We follow the classical model of education. This year, I wanted to add in a little bit of extra because he's an older elementary student and needs more background behind the memory work that is in Classical Conversations. And so I wanted to share that with you. So for history, we use two things. We use Story of the World. We're in ancient times right now. I read this and then I assign some kind of activity from the activity book that goes with the Story of the World. The activity book is really good for all ages. If you have younger kids, they have lots of, let me see if I can pull it, like coloring pages that go with the different stories and stuff that go in the book. But if you have older children, there's lots and lots of activities. Let me get to one. There's review questions. So this is what the activity guide looks like. And it's for, it's not something you would just give to the kids. It would be something that you'd make copies of and give to the kids if you need. But in the beginning section, it has review questions. It has narration exercises. It has additional history reading if you want to dive deep in a subject. It has other literature suggestions, encyclopedia cross-references. What I really enjoy out of this is map work. So you can see at the top of this page, it has map work and it has the maps right in the activity guide. So it says student page 23 for this particular exercise. And so you would go to that page and there's a map. And so since I only have one child, I just go ahead and rip this page out and give it to them. If you had multiple children, you'd want to make a copy and give them that. And it tells them right here on the instructions, what they need to do on the map. So they're going to color parts of it. They're going to circle things. They're going to, label things. Like I said, there's coloring pages and then there's art projects, which I really enjoy. And sometimes I take the art projects and, I don't do them as they say to do them with like paper and scissors and glue and stuff. My son really likes to use polymer clay. And so I look through here and get ideas. And then I may ask him to make a clay model of whatever that is instead of the art project they have exactly mapped out. And then there's activity crosswords and activity little games and stuff in here as well. So I really like that. And we do it. We read a chapter a day, and then we do an activity if we like what they have for that particular chapter. Now, I say I read a chapter a day. I read a chapter either in that or in The World Story by Master Books. And so this also is a multi-book series throughout history. So you can start with the ancients and go up to modern times. It is a Christian worldview, and it just gives a different perspective on history. So I like to bounce between these. So I'll read a chapter in this, and then I'll read some in the story of the world. And we go back and forth, and we really enjoy it because that keeps it really interesting and different. So another thing I did is I went ahead and picked up Spelling Plus. This is a book it's 1,000 words for spelling success. It's a book of lists of words that you can use for spelling tests. And it goes from first grade through fifth grade. So we are way up here, 30-something, 40s. We're in the 40s of the list because he's in fifth grade. And it corresponds with it's the same spelling list that you would use in Essentials, which is a program part of CC. So I use this. It gives me not only the list of words, it gives me other notes about the words, homophones, the patterns that are used in the words, because what it does is it gives either a rule or a pattern, and then all of the words in that list follow those rules and patterns to help reinforce. And then I also have the companion book of this that is the dictation. And that is sentences that you can dictate to your child to copy that go along with the words. And so we use that a little bit. So I got that to supplement our spelling a little bit. And then even though Essentials is a very intense English program for fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, there were some explanations and descriptions of things that I just needed more help with. So I looked into this as Our Mother Tongue, English Guide to Grammar, or a Guide to English Grammar. And this is really a book that I use for me to give me more backup to describe and explain things. And then it does have exercises for your children to do if you want to dictate them. What I really enjoy is that it has diagramming, and we do diagramming in Essentials, but sometimes I'm like, I think there's more to this. And so I wanted more explanation and instruction there. So I got that as a guide for me to fully know what I'm talking about when I'm teaching my child. And so it's a supplement to what we're doing. It also has the answer key, Our Mother Tongue answer key to all of their exercises. So you can see how it has diagramming and different things in there. So this is just kind of a guide for me. And along those same lines, I like the Story of the World, and the author of the Story of the World is Susan Weiss Bauer, who has the company called Well-Trained Mind. And I'm reading the book, The Well-Trained Mind, right now, and going through all of her recommendations. And so I wanted to pick this up and give my child more instruction and more examples in English. So this is also the Well-Trained Mind. It's their grammar for the Well-Trained Mind. And this is the level for my child, which is the fifth grade. It's the purple workbook. And we go through a lesson a day. And you could break this up if you wanted to do this fully. A lesson has multiple exercises. It could have 4 or 5 exercises, or it might just have one. You could break that up. You could do multiple lessons a day. It is pretty gentle. Let me see if I can find an example. This is about verbs. This is lesson 17. starts on this page. It has exercise of a paragraph where you're supposed to, there's bolded verbs and they're on the past tense. Label each bolded verb as S for simple, P for progressive, or perf for perfect. So you're practicing their tense. And then there's, and it continues on the back side. And then it has lesson 17B, where it has fill in the blank sentences, and you underline the subject and the predicate twice, subject once and the predicate twice in each sentence, and then identify the tense of each verb or verb phrase as simple past, present, or future, progressive past, present, or future, perfect past, present, or future in the spaces next to it. And then you start on lesson 18. So they're pretty short lessons, and we've been enjoying this. We can just do it really quickly. A lot of times my son has a little hard time writing and is slow at writing. So a lot of times I'll do it verbally with him and I'll write the answers in. I'll show him what he's doing and then he tells me what the answers are. So I'll just kind of do the writing for him to make it go a little faster. And then along with it, it came with the instructor text. And I think, honestly, you could do without this. It's a lot of duplication. I haven't seen the need for this, except for it's the answers. So if you don't know the answers, this is the answer book. So I'm enjoying that. And it looks big and like a lot, but it goes really fast. So I just feel like it's a few minutes a day. The other thing I was really compelled to add to him is as part of CC, when he gets into 7th grade, he's going to start challenge. And it is a lot of reading. And they read a book a week. And then they discuss it at the end of the week. And so I want him to build up his reading speed to that pace within the next 2 years. So we've got the end of 5th grade. We're just starting 5th grade. And then he's got all of 6th grade. And then 7th grade starts when he has to be at reading a book a week. So I want to take the opportunity now to start upping his reading speed and game. Even though we were reading an assigned reader, now I've picked up the speed and I want him to read multiple chapters a day of the reader and try to get through books faster. And I want him to read really good living books that inspire and have good writing and all that. So what I have picked up is lightning, literature, and composition. Now, in Essentials, we do writing. And I love the way that we do the writing program. It is by IEW. I think it's fabulous. He's been very successful at it. So I'm not going to do the composition stuff in here unless we have time, which I don't think we're going to have time because we're already pushing it as it is. But what he does in here is reading comprehension. So it has an assigned book for either 2 to 5 weeks, depending on how big the book is. And I think there's 9 different books that's assigned throughout the year. So let me open that up and I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see, I think that was the teacher guide. This is the student workbook. And I think in here it has it color coded, which is really cool. Okay, so if you can see this, every time you see it changing color there, it's a different book. So you can see the first one, there's 3 weeks that we read The Mighty Miss Malone. Then we start reading Holes for 3 weeks. Then we have a poem unit. Then we read The Number of the Stars for 2 weeks. Then we read Tales of Childhood for 3 weeks, so forth. They break up the chapters and they tell you how many to read each day. And we do a 4-day week. So So he reads 3 chapters in this first book every day, and then we answer some questions. And then he has some grammar work about parts of speech. Same thing, read 3 more chapters, answer some questions, have a little bit of grammar. Next, read 3 more chapters, same thing over and over. And it's not very long. So there again, it's just a few questions. I usually write the answers for him, just to make it go faster. He has plenty of other writing for other subjects where he has to write. And then actual composition writing, not just handwriting, but actual composition writing he does in IEW CC. So he's getting plenty of all of that. But I wanted to really expose him to some good literature. And so we're picking up this program, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm reading the books with him. I'm reading them as well at the same time. I try to find them on my Kindle. I got this new toy. I got a Kindle Paperwhite. If you don't have one of these and you love books, oh my gosh, it's just life changing. It looks so clean and clear. In any light, you don't have to worry about glare. And I read all kinds of books on here. It's been awesome. And it tracks how much time you have left in the book, what percentage of the book you have left to read, or the percentage of the book you've read, how much you have left in a chapter, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm reading my own books as well as I'm reading his reader at the same time, so that I know what he's being asked to read and what content is in there. So we're having a great first 6 weeks of school. We have some ups and downs once in a while, but for the most part, it's going well. I think he's above his expected range or whatever. He's doing well writing wise. He's doing well, reading wise. He's doing well in math. I think he's ahead just a bit in math. I've done a couple of placement tests in math of different programs to see where he would land, and he's exactly where I think he should be. He's a little bit 5th grade above and advanced, I guess, 5th grade. So I'm happy with that. He's doing really well. He's doing his memory work. He writes papers every week for IEW in CC. And we go to community twice a week. And that's interesting. It's typically a CC co-op only happens once a week. But because I work full time, I needed more flexibility. I couldn't justify taking off a whole day every week to go to community. So I chose to split it into 2 different days. So I take 2 hours off in the afternoon on one day a week, and then basically half a day on another day in the week. That's been working out. So with that, I get to go twice a week, and I have 2 different communities that I'm a member of. People always ask, well, does that cost twice as much? No, you have to pay the same fee if you were in one community or 2. Just usually all of that goes to one community. The only extra is that there's a facility fee for each community. So I had to double that. I had to pay that fee twice for the 2 different ones, but it was really minimal. So that was not a big deal. And we're still enjoying that. This week we are starting Tin Whistle. Whew. I am looking forward to it, but not looking forward to it. I'm thinking I'm going to get some earplugs. If you've ever dealt with Tin Whistle, when I grew up in elementary school, we did recorders, and I prefer the sound of that better than Tin Whistle. Tin Whistle is just a higher pitch, but it's basically the same thing. It's just a physically different little instrument, but they're pretty much the same process, the same, mechanism. They're a little flute type of instrument, and we're teaching children who've never played before how to play them from scratch, and it's a difficult little process for that, but that's going to be a challenge. But we're enjoying our communities. We took a field trip to, we live in Texas, North Texas, so there is a state park called Dinosaur Valley State Park up here in Glen Rose, which is about an hour and a half drive for us from where we live. And our CC community went on an overnight, we went Thursday through Saturday trip and stayed at a retreat center and visited the park, and then visited the Creation Evidence Museum that is near the park. And it was just a magical time. We really had a great time. I got to spend more time with my community members. Riker got to play with his friends. My husband went with me, and we had some time together, and we just enjoyed it as a family. So we're definitely enjoying classical conversations and our experience in that. And I would love to hear how your 6 weeks is going, and what, if anything, you changed in the beginning of school, anything you've added or changed around or taken away. Let's talk. I'd love to have community with you guys, and I want to hear, what everybody else is doing out there. So hit me up with some comments. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come back. Next time I'll be talking about the books that I'm reading on my Kindle, and some good books for the mama's soul. So if you are interested in that, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you get notified when I upload the next video. Until then, be blessed, take care of your family, love one another, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.